message displays, aka digital signs. Do you want to say anything before I go any further?
No, I just thank the board for doing this. We're gonna get everybody back up to snuff and then we'll do ours and.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we'll be
thing.
putting that sign up soon, but I didn't want to put ours up before we made sure that we had regulations that we're all complying with. Okay, this is just a
Move,
oh, okay, yeah. Motion,
move. Second.
roll call.
Councilmember
Backwards
Rowe?
there.
Yes.
Councilman Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, this is just a receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby receive and file with the town clerk the attached reply from the Town of Windsor Planning Board dated April 5th, 2003, provided pursuant to the Town of Windsor Town Code 300-88 regarding the amendment to Articles 8 and 16 of Chapter 300 of the Town Code of the Town of Windsor zoning to define and regulate commercial variable message displays, aka digital signs. We have to send these things to the planning board to get an input from them, so that's all that is. It's just their input. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, in accordance with the resolution attached here to pursuant to sections 10 and 11 of the municipal home rule, adopt the attached local law amendments to Articles 8 and 16 of the Chapter 300 Town Code, Town of Windsor zoning to define and regulate commercial variable message displays, aka digital signs, in the Town of Windsor, direct the town clerk to publish pursuant to law. Motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes. Also like to acknowledge your work, Dave, on this, your town attorney's office, you and Jess putting this together. Okay, the next item on the agenda is public comments. So comments on agenda items only. Speakers permitted to speak up to 3 minutes. This is strictly for comments, no question and answer, or discussion will be allowed on any item, no exceptions. So I see there's some people here tonight. So this public comment period is just for agenda items. At the end of the meeting, there'll be a public comment on any item. Okay, so just so that's clear for those who are here. Okay, let's move along. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, approve the minutes of the public hearing for the increase and improvement of the facilities of Sewer District 9 Pump Station 2 Rehabilitation Project. The minutes of the public hearing to adopt the Americans with Disabilities Act, the self-evaluation report for 2023. The minutes of the public hearing for an application into the Community Development Block Grant Program fiscal year 2024. The minutes of April 5th, 2023 Town Board meeting, all of which were held on April 5th, 2023, as per the copies posted on the Town Clerk's Bulletin Board in the Town Hall, same distributed to each of the Town Board members. Motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes. Okay, that just wraps up that. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby authorize and approve the hiring of Alex Konak as a full-time motor equipment operator. Said employment shall commence effective May 6, 2023. Motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes. Anthony, was he a full-timer? What was he?
Full-time labor.
He was a full-time labor moving up to MEO. Okay. So do we have any more MEO openings or that's it? You're full? You got it. So we have a laborer's position.
Yeah.
Kicking around. Okay. All right, it's just another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby receiving file with the town clerk, the attached increase surety rider for street opening bond number 0152157738 from Liberty Mutual in the amount of $2,132,730 effective April 11th, 2023. This has to do with the KJ's opening of the road on Riley Road. Are they moving along there, Anthony?
Yes, they are.
Out there?
There's pothole, but yes, they are.
Keeping an eye on them?
I am. Engineers are.
Okay, so we now have this big bond, so if they don't behave themselves, we'll pull some of it. Another receiving file. Hearing no objections, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby receiving file with the town clerk. The attached deed between the Town of New Windsor and the Mid-Hudson 2 Holding Company dated October 30th, 2019, conveying a paper road commonly known as Lafayette Road and identified in the Town of New Windsor tax maps as Section 49, Block 2, Lot NA. Said deed was recorded at the Orange County Clerk's Office on the 15th of November, 2019, and Libra 14656 on page 513. This is just some housekeeping. This was filed 2019. I guess there was never any anything done by the attorney's office. So now we're just cleaning up some. They just cut a couple of these things on Lafayette Road. I don't know how they got lost. That's a new development behind Irish Eyes. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby authorize the supervisor to execute the attached change order number 2 with Core and Main LP to adjust for unused items in the current contract and the addition of a new line item under the allowance for the customer portal, which together results in a net credit to the town totaling $503,654.74. Such change order shall be in a form approved by the town engineer and acceptable to the town attorney. So we just, I'm sorry, motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, this was the project we undertook to put these new meters in, the water meters, to make it easier to read them. And pretty unusual to get a credit for $500,000 from anybody. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize final payment in the amount of $506.25 to Core and Main LP for the New Windsor Water Main Replacement Project pursuant to the recommendation of McGoey Hauser as a consulting engineers, DPC attached here too. Motion,
Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, I forgot to introduce Susan Scheibel, our receiver of taxes. So we're done with Core and Main now? Oh, okay. We'll never be done with Core and Main, huh? Okay. They move in with you? Yeah, I think so. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor receiving file with the town clerk, the attached task order number 23-6 with McGoey Hauser Engineering for engineering services related to Town of Windsor Water Treatment Plant, the building electric upgrades. We had to get some electric ran to the garage down at the Forge Hill Water Plant, so that our engineers undertaking that project. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor hearing receiving file with the town clerk, the attached utility easement between Mid Hudson Number 2 Holding Company, Town of Windsor, dated September 19, 2019. For the water lines, said irrevocable order of dedication was recorded in the Orange County Clerk's Office on the 15th day of November 2019 on Libra 14656 and page 524. This is some more housekeeping. Something happened in 2019. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, in accordance with the resolution attached hereto, hereby authorize the town supervisor to Part 1 of the attached full environmental assessment form, determine the proposed action to be unlisted action pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, declare itself lead agency for the review of same, and direct the engineering consultants to circulate for lead agency pursuant to 6 New York CRR, Part 617. Motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, this has to do with an I&I project, which is infiltration inflow into our system. So we've kind of made a lot of headway in this, and I'm glad we'll continue with this. It will help us immensely in the long run. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file of the town clerk, the attached license between Town of Windsor, Mid Hudson Number 2 Holding Company, dated again October 29th, 2019, for the construction, reconstruction, installation, repair, replacement, maintenance, operation of the sewer force main and associated apprentices. Said license was recorded in the Orange County Clerk's Office on 15th day of November 2019 in Libra 14656 on page 535. This is still part of that Lafayette project that we're just cleaning up some things. One more for them. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby receiving file with the town clerk, the attached irrevocable offer of dedication between Mid Hudson to Holding Company Incorporated, Town of Windsor, dated October 18, 2019, for the sewer utility easements depicted on the site plan for the Lafayette Ridge Apartments. Said irrevocable offer of dedication was recorded in the Orange County Clerk's Office on the 15th day of November 2019 in Libra 14656 at page 517. One more for that. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file of the town clerk, the attached utility easement between Mid Hudson 2 Holding Company and Town of Windsor, dated September 19, 2019, for the sewer utilities. Said irrevocable law for dedication recorded in the Orange County Clerk's Office on the 15th day of November 2019 in Liber 14656 on page 529. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize a final payment in the amount of $39,218.28, which includes retainage to Frank Stevens and Sons Roofing Incorporated for the Town Hall and Ambulance Building Roof Project pursuant to the recommendation of Always House. That's all consulting engineers, DPC, attached here to a motion.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yeah, this is a project that we undertook. The roof on Town Hall was 30 years old, the ambulance corps. So we, I'm a yes. So we bit the bullet and fixed these roofs. Long overdue. Anthony, you're next out there.
Thank you.
What do you do with all those buckets?
It's my brother's league.
Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor. Receiving file, the attached, what is it, 20-year, okay, golden seal total roof system warranty for the Carlisle system roofs installed on the Town Hall building and ambulance building. This is the warranty that we'll have for 20 years on these roofs. Hopefully, they'll last longer than that. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize supervisor to execute the attached change order, number 1, with credit for unused allowances in the amount of $7,161, additional cost for wood blocking work in the amount of $10,352, resulting in a net increase of the total contract cost of $3,161, and a contract extension time of 13 days. Said change order will be in a form approved by the town engineer and acceptable to the town attorney. Motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
All right, that was a change, yes, that was a change order for the roofing projects. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, award a lease purchase financing for 2023 acquisition of the following vehicles. For the Highway Department, 1 dump truck and 1 Bobcat skid steer. Buildings and grounds, they're getting 1 pickup truck. The police department's getting 4 new police vehicles, Matthew. Okay. And then the Windsor Woodlawn Cemetery, 1 pickup truck. In the amount of $640,950, J.P. Morgan Chase, in accordance with the New York State General Municipal Law, the Town of New Windsor Purchasing and Procurement Policy, as recommended by Doreen Casey, Controller, in the attached correspondence. Motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes. These lease purchases are much more cheaper for the town, these vehicles. So we've been into this for a while and we waited to get all. What is that second one that you're getting? What is that? Anthony, the steer?
Skid steer, Bobcat skid steer.
What does that do?
Like a little loader.
What?
Like a little loader.
Oh, okay.
Landscape.
Chair will entertain a motion that pursuant to the resolution annexed here to the Town Board, Town of Windsor, hereby conditionally promote Jennifer Gallagher from Civil Service position of Assistant Building Inspector number 3 to the Civil Service position of Building Inspector number 3, effective today, May 3rd, 2023. Said promotion shall be subject to Ms. Gallagher's successful completion of 6 months of probation, making such promotion permanently effective on November 4th, 2023. Town Board, Town of Windsor further conditionally appoint Jennifer Gallagher as the Department Head of the Town of Windsor Building Department effective today, May 3rd, 2023. Such appointment becoming permanent on November 4th, 2023, after her successful completion of aforementioned period of probation. The aforementioned promotion appointment, Ms. Gallagher, shall be made with the understanding that given her membership in the town chapter of the Civil Service Employee Association, her duties as Building Inspector 3 and Department Head of the Town of New Windsor Building Department shall include all the usual supervisory duties that come with such position, except that she shall not seek in any instance to set or formulate department policy. Any such policy shall be set forth by the town, engage or weigh in on any contract negotiations the town undertakes with the CESA, and engage or weigh in on any other union contract related issues. It shall further be understood and agreed that such promotion and appointment shall not provide any increase or decrease of salary or benefits to Ms. Gallagher. Such promotion and appointment are made with the express understanding and agreement amongst both the board and Ms. Gallagher that she shall maintain her existing years of her service and all attendance, salary, and benefits connected thereto, per New York State Civil Service Law rules per the effective collective bargaining agreement. Motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Jennifer's been the building inspector for many years here, but we're just formalizing the fact that she is now a department head in addition to that. Shall entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, as the involved agency in connection with this application, Community Development Block Grant fiscal year 2024, funds for retrofitting, upgrading town facilities to bring them into compliance with the Americans with Disability Act, hereby determine that the proposed action is an unlisted action pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, declare itself to be lead agency to review of same, and authorize the town supervisor to execute Part 1 and 3 of the attached short environmental assessment form, all in accordance with the resolution annexed here to motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, we had gotten a grant from the federal government for $495,000 to upgrade the Moresco Center, and one of the requirements was that we had to do a self-evaluation of the American Disability Act. We brought in someone to do that, and they made some recommendations, and we're in the process of putting those recommendations into play. We're also applying for a county grant for $175,000 to complete those recommendations. We were in pretty good shape, but there's a couple of things that we needed to update, which we're in the process of doing right now. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby amend the 2023 standard schedule of fees to add a new M4 as follows. Town clerk fee, issuance of one-day marriage officiant license, the fee shall be $25 each. Each subsequent item in this section shall be renumbered accordingly. Motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes. For those of you who don't know, the governor has, and the legislature passed some legislation that anybody can marry anybody. If you get a license for one day, you can come into the town clerk's office and get that license and then officiate at a marriage. Okay, so if anybody wants to get married and you want somebody else to do it besides one of the judges, then now that's a possibility. Things, it gets stranger and stranger as the life goes on here. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby receive and file with the town clerk the attached performance bond from Travelers Casualty Surety of American Hartford, Connecticut, in the amount of $86,390 as a security for the restoration of property pursuant to the developers agreement between DP Stonegate, the Town of Windsor, dated December 22nd, 2020, recorded in the Orange County Clerk's Office on this July 19th, 2021, in Liber 15006 at page 873, which was signed to the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, incorporated by the assignment of the developers agreement dated January 26, 2022, recorded in the Orange County Clerk's Office on the 9th day of June, 2022. So what happened here is that a developer had all his approvals by the planning board and then sold those approvals to the Watchtower people, which meant that that property comes off the tax rolls. So this is an 80 unit project just off of Little Britain Road. So anytime anything comes off the tax roll, the rest of us pick it up. It's not like it goes away. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, in accordance with the resolution annexed hereto, hereby authorize the release of the Lexington National Insurance Corporation surety bond in the amount of $86,390 in the favor of Travelers Casualty and Safety of American Hartford, Connecticut, surety bond in the amount of $86,390 to ensure that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York complete the construction of a new sanitary sewer pump, thereby a standby generator and all appurtenances thereto, including the restoration of the property owned by Little Britain Road Properties. Motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yeah, so this is Watchtower just putting up the same bond that the other developer had. It's just replacing one with the other. Those bonds are used if they don't follow the guidelines from the planning board, then we take the money and the bond, call the bond, and we do the work ourselves. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize the establishment of performance bond for the public improvements of Highview of Orange Incorporated, which is 7-lot subdivision on Hill Road, Phase 2, Planning Board number 2005, in the amount of $23,840.25 plus 4% inspection pursuant to paragraph 5J of the Town of New Windsor Standard Schedule fees in the amount of $3,536.16, representing 4% of the total public improvements. Cost estimate is $88,404.10, as recommended by McGoey Hazard Consulting Engineers by correspondence dated 14th of April 2023. Motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, this is just posting the bond to make sure that they complete the work as outlined by their planning board approval. Chair will entertain the motion. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board of New Windsor pursuant to resolution annexed here to subject to permissive referendum, hereby determine the lease of a town-owned property commonly known as 334 Avenue Americans, building 2420, identified in the Town of New Windsor tax map of section 3, block 1, lot 551.3, is a type 2 action pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, requiring no further action, further authorize the supervisor to execute a lease for such property and subsequently the same form as a draft lease attached hereto for the annual rent at no less than $27,462, which is $7.58 per square foot, and rent to escalate at 3% per year for every year occupancy is continuous, with the tenant paying all utilities. Motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, the town owns some property out at the airport, and the IDA just left, and we have some new tenants, and we now have gone out to get a tenant for the last remaining building. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize the supervisor to enter into and execute subject to permissive referendum, the attached exclusive right to rent agreement to Remax Benchmark Realty Corp. Group, which shall list for rent property owned by the Town of New Windsor, commonly known as 334 Avenue Americas, building 2420, New Windsor, New York, and further described on the Town of New Windsor tax map at section 3, block 1, lot 51.3. Said agreement shall commence June 4th, 2023, expire on 11/59 on December 3, 2023. Motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, this is a local real estate agent that we have given this building to rent out. We had tried to do it ourselves, but the person handling our rentals really didn't do such a good job. So we had to go outside. Who would that person be? Yeah, we tried to do it ourselves. It just didn't work out. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file with the town clerk a letter of resignation submitted by Gregory Biasotti, dated April 19, 2023, resigning his appointment as chairman and as member of the Zoning Board of Appeals effective April 19, 2023. Greg's been a long time member of the Zoning Board, and he was also our chairman for a long time, and I appreciate all his efforts he put in on behalf of the Town of New Windsor on that board, and wish him well in his further endeavors. Shall entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of New Windsor, pursuant to the town law, section 267-2, hereby appoint George Rodriguez, 6 Brandon Court, New Windsor, New York, to serve as chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Motion?
Move.
Roll call.
Second.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, George is a member of the zoning board and now moving up to be the chairman, and we appreciate him accepting this position. It's almost a volunteer position. There's hardly any money at all, but they do a great job for the town. Shall entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, pursuant to the New York State Town Law, section 267-8, appointed as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Carmela Iannone, of 63 Myrtle Avenue, New Windsor, New York. Said appointment shall be to fill an unexpired term of Gregory Biasotti, which expires on December 31st, 2026. Motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, Carmela was an alternate on this board, and she's now moving up to be a member of the board. So we're looking for another alternate, which I've asked the board for some recommendations, and we'll see where we go. Shall entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor. And whereas the New York State Town Law, section 287-4, defines the term zoning board of appeals members as equal 2 years in the number of members on the board. Whereas the Town of New Windsor Zoning Board of Appeals consists of 5 members, and whereas on April 3rd, 2019, Kathleen Braun was appointed as a member to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and whereas pursuant to New York State's Town Law, Section 287-4, the term of appointment shall be for 5 years period commencing 2019, terminating on December 31st. Whereas the April 3rd, 19 board meeting motion contains an administrative error listing the term ending on December 31st, 2024. Now therefore be resolved, Town Board, Town of Windsor, that the expiration date of Kathleen Bourne term as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, which is and continued in April 3rd, 2019, motion is hereby amended and corrected from December 31st, 2024 to December 31st, 2023. Motion,
Move.
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Moreau.
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago.
yes,
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, when Kathleen was appointed, it became a 6-year term, and by law, it can only be a 5-year term. So we're just correcting that, was 2019. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file with the town clerk the attached task order number 2305 with McGoey House Etzel Engineering for engineering services, architectural services related to the Town of Windsor various roof projects, which would be the highway garage, the building and grounds building, and the Brook Street pump station. So these are some other roofs that have well beyond their life expectancy. So we're going to have the engineer draw us up and give us some idea of what the prices will be. We'll put it out and see if we can get those done. We need to get that done before the winter, Anthony.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive it and file decreased penalty rider and performance bond 6540002 from QBE Insurance Corporation, the amount of $266,200, guaranteeing all work, terms, and obligations relating to the public improvements for Phase 1 of the Meadowbrook subdivision. So this is just the bond setting a new amount on it. And the amounts change sometimes when they finish all the work and we approve it, then we'll give them back part of their bond, and that's what this has to do with. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file decreased penalty rider, performance bond 6540003 from QBE Insurance Corporation, the amount of $511,608, guaranteeing all work, terms, and obligations resulting in the public improvements for Phase 2 of the Meadowbrook major subdivision. So obviously we're reducing that because our engineer has approved some of their work. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file another decreased penalty rider in the performance bond 6540005 from QBE Insurance Corporation, the amount of $367,572, guaranteeing all work and terms and obligation relating to the public improvements of Phase 3 of the Meadowbrook subdivision. Still receive and file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file with the town clerk the attached notice of claim in the matter of Anthony Paraglia Jr. and Francine Paraglia versus the Town of Windsor. What happened here is that we had one of our garbage trucks picking up some garbage. Car behind the garbage truck decided to pass the garbage truck and hit somebody head on. So how we're involved, I have no idea. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file with the attached stormwater control facility maintenance agreement between the Town of Windsor and JAD Industries dated March 17, 2023, for the maintenance of a private stormwater management facility as identified on the JAD Industries site plan map for property owned by JAD Industries known as Lot Number 1 on the lands of Anna, filed on map number 235-21. Said stormwater control facility maintenance agreement was filed in the Orange County Clerk's Office on the 30th day of March, 2023. So what happened here is there's a new project going up across from in Devitt's in that area, and he had to do a stormwater study. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, hereby receive and file the attached memorandum of agreement between the Town of Windsor and the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, New Windsor, New York, which is the PBA, to amend Section 19, Article 7, entitled Uniform and Equipment of the Collective Bargaining Agreement to provide take-home vehicles to detectives and canine officers for the exclusive use of official police business in accordance with the memorandum understanding. It was too broad for me when I saw this, to take-home vehicles for the police officers, so we just tightened it up a little bit as to what they can do with it and how far they can go with it. Receive a file, hearing no objections, Town Board, Town of Windsor, shall receive and file with the town clerk the attached monthly reports for the following departments: Justice Calderon, Justice Myers, Police Department, Building Department, Recreation Department, Tax Receiver, Utility Report, Tax Receiver monthly tax statements, tax receiver, 2023 final property tax, town clerk, and the New Windsor Emergency Medical Services. So I just looked at a couple of these reports today. Newvac did about 450 calls last month. Police department had 1,600 interactions or calls with the public. We're pretty active on those emergency service things, and you can get an ambulance, you call for an ambulance, we got guaranteed 7.5 minutes, they'll be there. Recreation department has a trip to Yankees and Mets game in May, so if anybody's interested, maybe they want to call down to recreation. Okay, how was that, fun? Right? Oh, God, help us. Okay, this is the public forum, so if anybody wants to talk about anything, you can get up and tell me what you want to talk about, and then we'll see where we're going. So what I need is your name and your address, and off we go. Excuse me?
I don't think I can address them.
Or do you give your name?
Yes, I do.
What's your name?
It's Karen Ambrossetti.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Karen Ambrossetti. I'm here as a concerned citizen who has become very familiar with research done by the New York Citizens Audit, grassroots citizen education group who are nonpartisan, nonprofit 501c3. I recently emailed the New Windsor Board a copy of their study and deficits report, customized resolution for an audit of the New York State 2022 general election for your review. Through auditing the voter roll databases obtained directly from the state and local boards of election, New York Citizen Audit has uncovered massive vote discrepancies and the clear presence of an unnatural algorithmic patterns. This is from the summary of the deficits report. Voter rolls must be accurate. Votes counted must be from qualified voters, and the number of votes must equal the number of voters. They found 2.4 million New York State voter ID numbers attached to 1.1 million registrants. 987,000 voters registered on January 1st, 1900 to 2021. There were 1.9 million registrations in the state voter rolls missing from the county rolls. 625,000 more registrations than voting age citizens in just 6 counties. 740,000 ineligible votes statewide. There were 338,356 more votes cast than voters who voted in 2020. And there were 195,000 votes cast in New York City that went missing in the New York State voter database. Their conclusion was over 1 million felony violations of the New York State election law. 95 state and federal legislative races impacted by that 740,000 ineligible votes. Their sources for their data were from the New York State Board of Election voter rolls provided on October 21st, 2021. The county voter rolls, although not all counties responded to the FOIL request, and the New York State Secretary of State official website. There are all their numbers that they used. All this information, along with other reports and supporting data, can be found on their website, which is auditny.com. The New York State voter database and our voting apparatus are part of our critical infrastructure. New York Citizens Audit has provided evidence that our database is being manipulated. The question remains, who is manipulating it? Is it foreign interference? Is it domestic? No one knows. But New York Citizens Audit was told by a cyber intelligence expert they indicate a total loss of control data breach. That's the most severe kind of breach recognized by our federal government. The burden to prove our elections are accurate and comply with the laws is a statutory duty of our election officials. The people who certify the 2022 general election have committed perjury at the least. The same information has been provided to the state and federal officials. Attorney General, Secretary of State, State Board of Elections, Inspector General, FBI, New York State Police, who then passed it on to the Foreign Intelligence Task Force, the state leadership of Democrat and Republican parties, county election officials, sheriffs, and district attorneys. So far, New York Citizens Audit has been met with indifference and inaction. This is not a red issue, and this is not a blue issue. This is a red, white, and blue issue. This affects every single one of us in this room, regardless of what political party you lean to. We are asking for bottom-up pressure from our towns through the resolution and petition to put pressure on the legislator who are currently working on election law bills. Our national security, as well as our individual civil right to transparent and honest elections, are at stake. We understand that town boards do not legislate to the counties, but your constituents vote for you to be their voice, and their voices are not being heard. Concerned citizens are bringing the deficits report all across New York State to support this end-to-end audit. We have found there would be no financial liability to the towns. It would occur at the state level. To date, we have 12 signed on to support the audit with more to come. We know the situation is not your doing, nor does the board have any authority to correct it. As our local representatives, we are asking that you adopt this resolution and push it further up the line to the legislative body that can correct it. This is the only way we can be assured that our voter rolls are corrected now, and we can guarantee they remain that way in the future. I am hereby asking New Windsor Town Board for a vote of yea for their support on this most crucial matter, excuse me, and for a decision on this resolution by the next public town board meeting, which I believe is June 7th. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to address the board tonight. Did you receive the email?
No, but I was gonna ask you to, if you give me a copy of it,
Yes.
I'll take it. Okay, this will be part of the meeting then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Anybody else want to speak?
Thank you.
Just come on up. How you doing?
Doing great tonight, how are you?
I'm good. Name?
Alberto Zaneri,
Okay.
I live at 79 Dale State Heights Drive.
Okay.
I've been there for 33 years. Concerned about the water that we are actually consuming for the past, I would say, a year. Can no longer wash a car because of the water spots that are on there, to the point where the windshield spots, washer fluid don't take it
Mhm.
off. We're drinking it. Toilets. Within 3 days, I can't say without lab results on it, analysis, but it looks like calcium because it's like an orange tannish ring start to form. The water has a little bit of an odor. And I gotta replace my vaporizers every year because of the buildup between, that's, I know it's calcium in there because you gotta chip it out, but it also builds up a black mold. So I just want you to look into this water because like I say, 33 years. It's only been since like last summer that this all started, you know?
Okay, I'll address that when I close this portion. If anybody else wants to speak to anything else? Yeah, come on up.
I'm Nia Condosta, I live in New Windsor, I go by Wendy Condosta.
Can you speak a little louder?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Sorry, I am Nia Condosta, I go by Wendy Condosta.
Oh, yeah, Wendy.
I live in New Windsor. Two things that just popped up between the election and the water. I have to agree with the gentleman that just spoke before me. My fixtures, the sinks are like how, I don't know what it is like yellow, brown,
Mhm.
filled up around all the fixtures, the faucets, it's caked on. It hardens, my husband really has gotta scrub it off, I don't know, we don't drink our water now, I'm at the point where I buy filters to filter my water. So it's kind of sad that I'm paying for water, but I can't drink it, I'm afraid to drink it. So that's number one. Number two, about the election. I want to testify to you that I myself believe I've witnessed election integrity issues. On the day, I think, Supervisor Meyer,
Yes.
what year was it that your first term of this recent one, was it 2020?
2020.
2020? During that election year, I recall that they moved District 8 and District 13 to the Snake Hill building. For what reason, I don't know. For all many years, we voted over at the community center, but those two districts was moved to the Snake Hill.
Mm.
So that day of election, where the record online was posting the results as the day went through. And that district only recorded 35 votes. I don't understand how you can get 35 votes out of two districts in New Windsor. I already know people in my neighborhood that exceeds that number. And I think that was one of the biggest issues, even prior to that election, that we have an issue with integrity in our process. It needs to be addressed. That's the same thing with the following, the 2022. It just keeps like it doesn't add up. The numbers just doesn't add up. Until this day, I don't understand why New York State still do not publish those results from those previous elections on their website, because it's not accessible. So I just want to let you know that.
All right, Wendy, thank you. How you doing?
I didn't really plan on saying.
That's okay. What's your name?
My name is Jose Matos. I do live here in Windsor. And I love this, I love Windsor, actually. I love this town. I think I love the police department in this town. I work out with a lot of them in the Gold's Gym. And I just want to say that, you know, what this group is doing
Yeah.
is, you know, one of the five First Amendment rights is to petition our government for grievances, and you know, we're doing it at a, you know, and how we're supposed to really do it is at a local level like this. And you know, but I was thinking, I just wanted, like I was thinking about, actually 11 years before the Constitution was written was Declaration of Independence. There was something that I think is really important that they wrote in there, that's relevant to what they're referring to. You know, we're familiar with, you know, the quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed." Or another way you could say it is, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the vote of the people. And so if we don't have that, right. If governments are not being instituted from the consent of the people, well, then we don't have a republic. We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. We're a representative government that representatives are elected, they're voted in office and in power by the people. And if the people don't have the right to vote those people in, well, then we don't have a republic. And so we're just asking you, petitioning you to investigate this, to see if, and here's the thing, if what everyone is saying and what their findings are, if they're wrong, no harm, no foul. We have election integrity. But if they're right, well then, again, do we really have a republic? Are we really instituting governments by the consent of the people? So just would ask, petition you as our local representatives to just investigate this, to make sure that our elections in New York State are fair and honest. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jose. Okay, sir.
name is Sonny Warshaw, live on Vales Bay, I Drive in Windsor.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
Going back to the water issue. I lived here for close to 43 years, and the water quality seems to be getting worse constantly. It's not even drinkable anymore. The
Can you speak
smell-
into the microphone a little bit there, Sonny? There you go.
The smell, the taste.
Right.
I mean, on a monthly basis, it gets worse and worse. I've called the water department, they told me they have it tested, the tests are fine, but the water isn't. The crud. Gentleman said before, there must be so much calcium in the water, it's ridiculous, because you go out and you hose something down, all you have is white spots all over the place. I wash my dishes, after they drain, I have this white crust. And the smell, the odor, and the taste is terrible, you know. They can keep telling us that the water is fine, you know, they sent it out to be tested, but it's not.
Mhm.
I can look in my neighborhood any given day and people walking with cartons of water.
Mhm.
We not, most of the people I know, we can't drink the water. You know, bills going shopping, probably 20% is buying bottles of water. Except for brushing your teeth, taking a shower, it's terrible, it really is. You know, like I said, when I call, you know, they say, well, we're having it tested, everything comes back fine, but it's not fine. There's somebody who can do something about it. I mean, I don't even know where we get all the water from anymore. When I moved up here 43 years ago, this was the greatest water in the world. And it's just gotten worse. It just, probably just keeps getting worse and worse.
Okay.
I mean, is there somebody that can really look into this?
Yeah, I'm gonna speak to it in a minute.
Or can you tell me where we get all the water from?
Yeah, when you're done, I'll answer. You're finished?
Yes.
Okay, you can sit down. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so I'm gonna close that public forum portion and then speak to a few things that were brought up. First and foremost, I think we all agree with those who spoke to the election process that, yeah, it's a little archaic to me. It seems very archaic. Fortunately for me, we don't have anything to do with elections anymore. We used to run a lot of them out of the clerk's office, and the county took it over. So we are like handicapped by them, but I'm going to look at this resolution that was proposed to us, and I'll share with the town board members, and we'll discuss it at the workshop meeting in June. And if we think it's worthwhile, we will do a resolution. I don't think anybody argues that something's not right. I mean, and it's just not done right. I think that's the biggest problem. But I know that everybody, those people here, this gentleman, I taught government for many years in college. You probably should go and teach that. It was the Articles of Confederation before that. But anyway, I really think that enough pressures be brought to bear. I mean, obviously, there's a presidential election coming up, and that's always talked about. So we are cognizant of it, but our hands are tied other than we do resolutions, and do they listen to us? I don't know, you know, but we'll see. But we'll take a look at it, and if we think it's worthwhile, we will do a resolution. That being said, the water, there's no doubt about the water. I inherited the water when I got here. So the last question was, where do we get the water? We get water from the New York City Aqueduct, Catskill Aqueduct, and then we get water from the Forge Hill plant, which is down on Forge Hill Road, and there's some wells. And the wells have never been right. There's no question about that. And then the US government kind of had some slippage into the aquifers, and it caused a lot of grief for everybody. So it caused so much grief for us that the state is paying for our water usage from the aqueduct. And what I have done recently is I've kind of cut back the Forge Hill water usage to about 20%, and 80% comes from the New York City Aqueduct. One of the problems that we fight with all the time is they close the aqueduct down. They shut it down. So now we are only on the Forge Hill water, which is where the problems come from. But as far as it being safe to drink, we would never put anything out there that's not safe to drink. There are problems with the water. We're very familiar with it, and that's why we try to not use the Forge Hill. I'd like to close it down altogether, but the board's discussed it. If we close it down, we have no backup. So the aqueduct is shutting down. I think it's either next week or the week after, depending upon when the construction people are ready. It will be shut down for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. We don't know. And the only water that we have then is Forge Hill Road. So we get down to Forge Hill water or no water, right? So it's not much of a choice, but we are as much as possible using aqueduct water. And we had always used that before. And I think what happened to prior administration, New York City kept raising the fee that we would pay for the water. So they went out and tried to find some water. Unfortunately, right after they found it, they had this issue come up, and we are now in a lawsuit, part of a lawsuit in South Carolina with, I don't know how many other municipalities throughout the country, suing the federal government over these things. And these will take time, but we, the taxpayers in Windsor, are paying to fight this, and we're 30,000 people here fighting the United States government, and they never take any responsibility. So where did it come from? And who else did it? They did it. So we are very familiar with the water. We fight it every day, and I try to cut it back as far as we can. No, I'm done with the public hearing. There's no more conversation from the public. I closed that. No, I closed that. So what I'm saying is that I'm aware of it, and I'm in my office every day. And anybody who wants to come in or call me, certainly come in and we can discuss this further. But there's probably nobody in this town more familiar with our water problems than me, because I deal with them every day. And it's an ongoing battle for me. If I could just stay on the aqueduct and shut the other plant down, I would do that. We can't do it. There's no other backup. We used to have the backup on Browns Pond, but the city of Newburgh, who was having the same problem, they took Browns Pond. And they are also now won't refuse to use Washington Lake. So the state of New York was paying for their water usage. And when I got here, I said, whoa, if they're paying for them, why aren't they paying for us? So they have been paying for us for the last 3.5 years. So it's not something that I don't know about. And if anybody calls, we test the water. And what I'm testing for is make sure that the water is safe to drink. So that's kind of overview of what it is. And if anybody wants to show up in my office, I'd gladly spend some time with them and go over some more. But sometimes you're stuck with what you're stuck with. And I'm stuck with this Forge Hill as a backup. We have to have a backup. You cannot have just the aqueduct. Once that goes offline, now you would be putting no water out. Forget about flushing toilets, there'd be no fire, there'd be no anything. So that's why we have to keep that plant exercise and using it. All right, that being said, Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, close the Town Board meeting at 7:55 PM. Motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilman Moreau?
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes. What do you do?